So at the start of the movie Lord of the Rings, there's this quote, but they were all of them deceived. That's how I felt when I learned about water resistance in watches. Because I thought a watch, when it said it was water resistant, it could resist water. But apparently this is a tricky subject. In today's video, gents, I'm taking the confusion out of watch water resistance and I'm going to explain it to you in layman terms. All right, gentlemen, so let's start things off by defining two terms. What is waterproof? What is water resistance? So some guys think that their watches are actually waterproof. And to be waterproof, you have to be 100% water resistant. And no watch on this planet is 100% waterproof. That's just not going to happen because with water comes something called pressure. And pressure is where we start to have issues where on a watch, all of a sudden the seals, the gaskets, you're going to start to get penetration at some level of pressure with water. So that's why no watch can be 100% waterproof. And now let's talk about water resistance. So some watches are not going to be water resistant at all. Be careful with those watches. Getting caught in a rain shower is going to damage the watch. Other ones are going to have just a bit of water resistance. So you can wash your hands, you can take a shower with that watch, but you don't want to go swimming, you don't want to go diving. But understand that some of these watches are made incredibly tough. And that's really where the water resistance comes down to, is the construction of the watch. Now let's talk about the specific terms, the specific words you're going to see on your watch and what they mean with water resistance. So ATM, what that stands for is atmosphere. 1 atmosphere is equal to 10 meters. Now you're also going to see the word bar. Bar is simply going to mean atmosphere. It's the same thing. So this Master of G, Mudmaster G-Shock right here, it says it's water 20 bar resist. What that means, it's 200 meters water resistant. Now this is where it gets confusing because what the watch companies are saying, whether it's Rolex, whether it's G-Shock, is that they've tested this in a lab and that's the pressure that the watch can withstand, not the water depth that you actually can take the watch to. Now, some people may think the watch companies are being deceptive. If it says 50 meter water resistance, you want to be able to wear it down to 50 meters. But here's the thing, is it's all about pressure because pressure changes. It's actually independent of the depth that you go. Yes, in a perfect lab, it could go down maybe to 50 meters. But here's the issue, is what happens if you dive into that water and that watch hits the water, all of a sudden the pressure is going to spike. And that's what the companies have to pay attention to. So it's the difference between slowly putting a watch in versus again slamming it into the water. So throughout this video, I've been wearing this watch right here. This is the Master of G Mudmaster. It's model GG1000-1A8. Now, this is the latest in the new edition of the Master of G Mudmaster series. Guys, I love this watch. It's got the mud resist construction. Basically, it ensures nothing is going to get into the watch. We're talking about water resistance. Well, mud is a whole nother issue, and this watch has got you covered. In addition to being mud resistant, this watch has tons of features. So first up, we've got the twin sensor capabilities. We've got a thermometer, and we've got a compass. This watch is 200 meter water resistance. It's got a 24-hour stopwatch chronograph and stopwatch. It measures down to 1/100th of a second. It's got a full auto calendar, 5 alarms, a 2-year battery. And let's talk about in the dark. The face is illuminated by a super illuminator. It's got high brightness auto LED lights to ensure high visibility under any conditions imaginable. It's a beautiful, tough watch. I love how they paid attention to the details. A little bit of texture here on the band. Right here, the buttons, they've got this sure grip. This is a great watch. Guys, I'm linking to G-Shock down in the description of this video. Go check it out. Go look at the price. Look at the details. See if this is the watch for you guys. Again, linking to them down in the description. All right, Jen, so now we're going to talk about the various levels of water resistance, what you can do at each of these levels, and what you should not do. And gentlemen, to make this easy, I've created a very simple to understand chart for you. You can download it. I'm linking to it down in the description. Go grab it, guys. Yours absolutely free. First up, we've got 30 meters, 3 ATM, 3 bar. So this is usually going to be the lowest form of water resistance you're going to see out there. Basically, with this watch, you can wash your hands. You could take it into the shower, but I'm going to say even be careful there because shower, heat, steam, that is going to penetrate even more. You got to be really careful with this watch. I would treat it like it has no water resistance, even though they say it does. Next up, we've got 50 meters, 5 ATM, 5 bar. All right, so we're doing a little bit better here. You could actually take this into the shower if you so choose, although be careful if it's got a leather band. You could actually, you get caught in a rainstorm. You're out simply working outside. Someone splashes water on you. You are going to be okay, unless you want to go swimming. Do not swim with this watch. Next up, we've got 100 meters, 10 ATM, 10 bar. So this watch right here is 100 meters. It's a 10 ATM. And with this watch, I can go swimming. I could even maybe go snorkeling, but I'm not going to go scuba diving. Everything else, getting caught in a rainstorm, washing my car. I've even jumped in the hot tub, yes, with this one. But I would, again, be very careful with heat. Anything that's super hot, that can actually change the size of the gaskets, and it's something you want to be careful of. So even if it's 100 meters, still be careful with heat. All right, next up we've got 200 meters, 20 bar, 20 ATM. So both of these watches made by G-Shock are 20 ATM, 20 bar, 200 meter water resistant. That means I can go swimming, I can go diving, and I can knock this watch up against the water and it's gonna be perfectly fine. Now, the only thing I don't wanna do is go deep sea diving. I don't wanna drop this to the bottom of the ocean because once again, it goes past definitely 200 meters, we could start to have issues. So watches that go beyond 200 meters, 500 meters, 1,000 meters, that's very, very rare. All right, Jen, so now let's hit the FAQs. First up is, why is water going to damage the inside of a watch? Well, if you think about a watch, it's a closed system. Nothing should go in, nothing should go out. You've got moving parts in there. Let's say it's an automatic mechanical watch. Then all of a sudden you could have, that could really throw things off. You got little bits of oil in there. And this is not something you want to do for those high-end watches. Next up, you've got maybe a quartz battery. You got something that has a little bit of electricity going there. Well, let's think about that. Water, electricity, do not mix. So guys, anytime you get water into a watch, that is a bad thing. Now this takes us to question number 2, because what do you do when water has penetrated the watch? First up, how bad is it? If you've just got a little bit of steam, or you can tell there's a little bit of water in there, it may be something, may not be bad. You can put the watch to the side, get it away from the water, put it in a dry area, so hopefully the water can work its way out. But you may have to send it off to get repaired at this point. And where to send your watch for repairs? Well, if you bought it from the manufacturer, they should actually have a warranty. If you're within that warranty, send it to them. If you're beyond the warranty, you'll probably have to pay for the repairs. But if you don't have any of that, let's say it's a used watch or it's a watch that maybe was an heirloom, you'll want to send it off to a watchmaker, to a watch repair place. That's what they specialize in, and they'll be able to help you. Now let's talk about leather bands. So there's a lot of watches out there maybe that are 100 meter water resistance. You could swim in it, but they've got a leather band. So does that mean you should swim with this watch? The answer is no. Even though the case of the watch may be 100 meter water resistance, that does not mean that the band itself is. In fact, leather bands you need to be very careful with. That leather is going to absorb the moisture. The issue with leather is when it expels the moisture, usually a little bit more goes out. So what that's going to do is it's going to end up drying out the strap and then causing it to crack. If this does happen, make sure that you use a leather conditioner on the strap, and that should help it out. So the next question, is there anything that watch owners do that totally negates the water resistance of the watch? Yes, they leave that crown wide open, and guess what? They dive in. If you left that open, water is going to find its way in, and that's what you got to be careful about. In addition, guys, you're exposing this to chemicals. Let's say you apply a lot of fragrance. You put that fragrance on the watch consistently over years. Guess what? Those gaskets, again, can start to break down. So Antonio, you're telling me that I should check my watch for water resistance. If you're going to use it, if you're going to rely on this watch, yes, I would recommend that. Every 2 years is what is stated out there, but really it comes down to how often are you using it, under what conditions, and it is something, if you're a professional, if you rely on your watch, it is something that you'll want to look to upgrade it probably every couple years. All right, Jen, so that's it for water resistance, but I know a lot of you guys are now going to go buy a watch. Guess what? I've got you covered with this video right here, a complete checklist to everything you need to know about buying a watch. Go check it out. I'm linking to it down in the description. All right, gentlemen, now it's your turn. I want to hear from you down in the comments. What did I miss? What would you have added to this video to make it better? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe you got some stories about water resistance or not so good water resistance. Guys, I want to hear from you down in the comments. If you like this video, click on that like button. If you're new to Real Men Real Style, make sure to subscribe, become part of our community. And guys, don't forget, go check out our sponsor, G-Shock. I'm linking to him down in the description. You can see all the specs on this watch right here, this beautiful Mudmaster GG 1000-188. This is the new one, just came out. Beautiful, beautiful watch. All right, gents, that's it. Take care. I will see you in the next video.